Okay, so my name is Dan Bragiel. I'll be doing a little Q&A with Javed, my friend. A little bit about myself. My name is Dan Bragiel. I'm one of the partners of IO Ventures. We are an accelerator company out in San Francisco, very similar to an accelerator model if you guys are familiar with. We give some money in exchange for some equity. We've done this since 2010, and we are at 16 companies right now. We have a pretty high success rate as far as our companies following on and getting additional investments, a couple acquisitions, and we just finished our most recent batch, and we're here in Poland for the Euro Cup, and we just finished watching a game. Our ears are hurting because we were chatting with everyone else. A little lack of sleep, but we're really excited being here. This was Javed's first soccer game as far as being in attendance, so I think the country of Poland did a good job. So a little bit about Javed.
Yeah, my name's Javed Karim. I co-founded YouTube, and I'm currently running University Ventures, and I'm also a mentor. There we go, at IO Ventures in San Francisco. And I'm excited to be here. It's my first visit to Poland.
Okay, and this is my first interview, so you guys will have to excuse me if I'm going to be speaking too fast, or I'll just skip over everything. Okay, so Javed was the founder of YouTube, but talk a little bit about before you're at YouTube. So what was the job before that?
Sure. So my first job was basically at PayPal, where I designed the anti-fraud systems. Oh, not close enough. There we go. That's okay. It's okay. Yeah, I implemented the anti-fraud models at PayPal, and I was there from, I think 2000 to 2005. It's pretty exciting, and I got to meet a lot of interesting people. So that was I guess that was technically my first job.
Okay, and so then after YouTube, you're kind of fiddling with some ideas what the next thing that you're going to be working on, right?
You mean after PayPal?
Yeah, after PayPal.
Right. Yeah, so me and some colleagues, we were kind of brainstorming lots of different ideas. We were actually throwing around maybe 4 or 5 different things. But we kept noticing online video as a potentially interesting market because there was this confluence of things that were happening at the same time. For example, digital video cameras were completely new at the time. I don't think they had cameras in cell phones at that point yet. It was mostly the pocket point-and-shoot cameras. And then at the same time, we had broadband in the home. That was actually a new phenomenon in 2005, believe it or not. Before that, it was mostly dial-up modems. We also had flash video for the first time, so that meant there was one consistent format for all videos online. And before that, it was just a very fragmented collection of formats, Windows Media Player, QuickTime, and different codecs within each player. So it was pretty chaotic. There was no good way to really find or share videos. And so we kept going back to, online video. This might be a good industry. So we, decided on that as the market to address.
And so I'm going to go back a little bit in between PayPal and YouTube. You worked on another project, which is how we first met. Along with Paul and a couple engineers, one of them from Wrocław, we built a company called Metro, which was a desktop client, and it was a location-based instant messenger. And this is in 2005. And so no iPhones, nothing. But it was a really cool concept, kind of like a social network where you can talk with people and it'd show people who are nearby. And the way we first initially met was because our friend knew that Java made something before this.
Yeah, so me and a friend, we worked on this instant messaging client that is location aware. I think it was around 2002, I believe. And it used Wi-Fi access point IDs and Wi-Fi signals and stuff to kind of figure out what area you're in, or at least to figure out relatively which other people are close to you. And it was a native Windows app, and I thought it was really cool, but it was a little too early. A lot of people didn't have Wi-Fi back then. I remember a lot of people, when I asked them if they had Wi-Fi, they didn't even know what that was. And so it was just, I think it was too early. And it was the barrier was just too high because you had to download a Windows application and install the Windows application. So after that, I always thought I never want to do a Windows application again.
Yeah, and so that's kind of how we first met, and he was pretty much telling us everything that you guys said. He's like, "Don't do it. It's too early," and we still kept on going at it. And 2 years later, we decided to go in a different direction called LaFora. Anyways, so with YouTube, initially video. I mean, it was always surrounded around video, but
Yep.
the actual main part of the program wasn't like a social network for videos, right?
Yep. So initially, we didn't know what the product was going to be. We just knew it was going to be videos. So at first, we made a dating site, and the slogan was "Tune in, hook up," but it didn't work that well.
So were people actually using it? Was it like how did you get anyone to use the product? Were you guys paying for ads?
No, we just we tried to post on forums and stuff like that. I think we also posted on Craigslist. We basically said if you're a girl and you post 10 videos, we'll pay you $10 or something. I don't think anyone ever responded to those. We didn't get a single video of that type. So instead, we got videos of like people's dogs and cars and stuff like that. So, we ended up getting people's animals and cars and stuff. Dating videos.
And so how long then, when you're doing this, that you decide, okay, let's scrap that and then go in a different direction?
Oh, it was a few months.
Okay.
And so we just decided to open it up, because apparently people just wanted to upload any videos in general. So we just decided to open it up to, anything. And at that point, we became more similar to Flickr, I would say.
And then, so the video player that you're using for the dating site, was it pretty much what it is now?
It's very similar.
Nice. And okay, so then you change direction. You just make it into like an open everything, upload a video.
Yeah, it became more generalized, and we took some cues from Flickr. We borrowed some concepts like tagging, just so you could find videos. And at the time, tagging was actually a very new concept. A lot of people didn't know how it worked, so oftentimes when people uploaded videos, they would put like ASDF as all the tags. So we had to. But eventually they figured out that if you want views, then you have to make it easy to find your video. So you can't just add, ASDF tags. So eventually people figured that out.
Yeah, so another little background story. My younger brother is in video production, and so he has a video channel on YouTube. And really early on, we posted one of our videos, and it got on the front page. It had nothing to do with Java's affiliation. We just somehow got up on there. And we were so excited. We're like, oh my God, we're on the front page. And you see all the back in the day, front page was like a really cool feat to do. But anyways, yeah, he makes a living off there, and tagging is the biggest reason. Everything is based on travel, and so if he puts in a tag Mississippi River, he's getting additional traffic just off of that, not off the initial upload.
Yeah, we use some other simple stuff. Well, now it looks simple, but just being able to embed the video or having HTML code that you could copy. At the time, that was really new. I don't think, very few websites were doing that now. Of course, it's very common. But being able to embed the video player on any website was a really big thing.
And so as far as how you felt, when was like the point where you saw some really actual growth, traction? How long in the process did that take?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was pretty gradual. I don't think there was like any point where we said, oh, like now it's growing really fast. It was sort of a slow build up.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say that, on any given day, there was some probability that there would be a really popular video. And initially that probability was 0 because we didn't have any videos. But, more and more we would have these days where a couple of videos would be really popular. And then basically because we had more videos, that probability increased. So eventually we had every day there was some video that was like freaking just huge.
Hopefully this is kind of public information, but you mentioned to me that a really good way of getting logins was based off of mature content, right?
Right. So I mean, we never allowed inappropriate content because that would be bad for the brand, right? But there were like some videos that were borderline, like maybe violence or like minor nudity or something like that. And so for those, obviously those got a lot of views. But we came up with this idea of when you go to that video and you're not a member, we show a screen that says you have to sign up to prove that you're 17 or older. And so we got a lot of signups through that.
And so early on, I love that. So when he told me, I was like, "What?" But it's so obvious. What was like the key metric that you were looking at early on? Was it page views? Was it time on site? Was it like additional engagement?
Yeah, we kept it very simple. And I think, in terms of metrics, I think it's best to just keep it simple. We looked at number of video views per day, number of signups per day, and also the repeat usage. So I remember initially we looked at we had a printed out list of users and when they signed up and when they last came to the site. And it was very much correlated. So if you signed up like 3 months ago, the last time you went to the site was 3 months ago. You signed up 1 hour ago, last time you were on the site is 1 hour ago. Obviously, that's terrible. So our goal was to, fix that. So we added more things such as being able to subscribe to channels, showing related videos and stuff. And eventually, the last visit time just became completely random. It had nothing to do with your sign-up time. And that's when we knew that, it's a good product.
And so how fast were you experiencing server problems as far as bandwidth issues?
Yeah, pretty fast. I mean, right, so we were at a couple ISPs. I think Server Beach was one of them. And I remember they told us that, you guys are like exhausting the entire bandwidth of the entire data center.
Of the internet.
Yeah, basically. So for a while we had to keep jumping to different ISPs. Then we split it up between different ISPs. And eventually we just outsourced the popular videos to Limelight, which was a little bit expensive, but that way we didn't have to worry about, serving all that bandwidth ourselves.
And so that was by far the largest expense.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So usually the largest expense at a startup is going to be just employees, but this is a rare case where it's
yeah,
bandwidth.
it was definitely bandwidth.
Maybe now it probably would it have been as bad with like Amazon Web Service, or just be?
It would still be pretty high, but
Okay.
one advantage or anyone has in this business is that bandwidth costs are dropping pretty much every month.
And you brought in someone special on board for that, right? Was he the head of Amazon, for the server guy?
We brought in a lot of people we knew from PayPal who had built out like the entire network architecture of the entire site, and it was great because they really had the deep knowledge required to set up our hosting stuff.
And so, just kind of initial idea phase. What year was that? Like, how long did it take until acquisition?
Let's see. I think we started. The site was launched on April 23rd, 2005, and I guess acquisition was
2007?
October 2006.
Okay, so
Yeah.
was it 2006?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. And another little funny story. My brother Paul was one of the first users of YouTube, and so he has youtube.com/Paul. And so a lot of people want to claim that as their username, and so they request a new password. And so I'd say, how many emails do you get a day? 20? 20 emails that just say, oh yeah, YouTube has what was it? What do they do? They try to reset his password every 25 times a day. And so and at one point somebody actually hacked into his account, and he had to actually email Hunter, the head of YouTube now, to claim his YouTube account. Okay. Anyway, so you finished YouTube, acquired, and now you're focusing on angel investing, right?
Correct.
Okay. And what are some of the bigger investments you have?
Let's see. I mean, Airbnb is pretty exciting. I'm also interested in the personal finance space, future advisor, just to name a couple.
Cool.
Yeah.
And so for you, how long of a process does it take for you to evaluate a company?
I don't know if there's like a set time limit. It's mostly just, looking at the market, the team, and the product. Kind of, discussing it with a few friends or colleagues in the space.
Cool. And anything that's exciting you right now that you haven't put money into that you like playing around with?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if I can.
Smug Mug.
Smug Mug.
You like Java is a big photography fan, so we've traveled a lot together, and he takes pictures pretty much everywhere. So I mean, I'm guessing you like photography sites.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Smug Mug's pretty cool. It seems to be kind of a niche website, though. I guess there hasn't been a ton of revenue in photo sites. I think photo sharing is a great catalyst for a lot of websites, obviously Facebook, etc. But just a like photo by itself, it's really interesting, but it may not have been super high revenue so far, at least.
And as far as international startups, has anyone approached you? Have you put money into international companies?
hmm I haven't invested in any international companies so far. I'm definitely interested in learning more about the international markets in general, especially Europe. But I think I'm just getting to know the space.
And so a little tidbit about Javed. He's German, and you have some Polish in you, right? Very small.
True.
What was the story again? Your
Yeah,
grandmother was born.
Well, yeah, my mother's parents are from Poland.
Cool. And both Paul, I don't know if you guys know, both Paul and I are Polish as well. We speak really, really bad Polish, but we can get by. Yeah. But yeah, yeah. I guess I'm kind of done asking questions. If you guys have anything you'd like to ask, I think Jeff would be up for
Sure.
asking or answering.
I mean, so Javed, you were early days in PayPal, and I mean, you kind of part of the whole crew that came out of University of Illinois together. Is there any reason why PayPal has produced so many awesome people? In your gut feeling, I mean, I kind of know I've heard from all you guys, but I think these guys would love to hear that.
So, yeah, I mean, the hiring was very, the hiring strategy was kind of very specific, right? It wasn't just like, let's blast out some job postings, get tons of resumes. Everything was pretty much by reference. So it was, friends or friends of friends. And I think I remember Peter saying something like, Peter being the co-founder of PayPal, that he was like kind of always looking for people who were like slightly weird or something. Like if it's just like a frat guy who likes to play basketball, even if he's a brilliant programmer, it's not a good fit. It has to be someone who has like this weird hobby that they do after work, or something they're really passionate about. So I think we were hiring with that in mind. Like really good personality fit, people who are somewhat, just like kind of in a fringe group, very technical. Let's see, as to your question, why have there been so many successes coming out of PayPal? I think it's also because PayPal was just like a very difficult company. Like there are lots of ups and downs, a lot of very close calls. And so each challenge was sort of a new emergency. We had like a new emergency every month, whether it was like we ran out of funding, or we had tons of fraud, or eBay was about to shut us down. So it was just, that experience was just really educational.
I got two questions actually. The first one is kind of maybe silly. It's because your video appears to be the first one on YouTube. And was that really the first video, or was there before some testing videos and this one actually worked?
No, that was the first video, because I uploaded it to a test database, and then I converted the test database to the live database. So that was actually the first video.
Okay, and the second one was it? Did you feel like when giving up the company, selling it as giving up out the baby, or not? Was it hard to I don't know, separate a little from it?
Yeah, a little bit, but on the other hand, we were also giving the baby to like a really good parent, So we knew that the baby would keep growing. If it had been acquired by Yahoo or something, it would have been bad news probably. Yeah, I think it was a kind of a learning experience for everyone, us as well as the industry, like Hollywood, etc. Because initially, Hollywood was very anti-YouTube because they thought, oh my God, they're putting our content up here, stealing everything, and all that stuff. But I think eventually they realized that it's actually giving them more eyeballs, right? Bigger audiences. So now they love it, right? You can watch movies on YouTube. Music videos now are produced specifically for YouTube. So I think they're also much cheaper to make because the resolution is, it's just like the techniques are just cheaper. And also, I remember initially we had some lawsuits where, people would call us, like NBC would call us and say like, oh, we found this clip, you need to take it down immediately. But then we would look at who uploaded the clip, and it turned out it was like a marketing person from NBC because they wanted more views. So I think they had to like slowly learn that this is actually the tool, not the enemy.
Hi. I was actually born during communism, so I'm not really I remember times before YouTube. However, I'm not sure if I'm the only one. It's really hard to remember times before YouTube, if you know what I mean. So just for that, congrats, because it's a great success. With that said, I was blown away when you said it was actually going to be a dating platform, but kind of didn't work out. I thought it was brilliant. So I'm just wondering, like, how you guys just realized that you become successful once you open it up for everyone, right? I'm just wondering, like, how to not miss out on this opportunity, because when you're convinced that what you're doing is actually the right thing you're doing, and like how to recognize the moment when you actually have to switch.
Yeah, I mean, the dating thing wasn't really that we were like interested in creating a dating site. That's not that interesting. It was more like we needed something to convince people that this is like a real technology, right? Because initially when we told people, we're doing online video, everyone was like, this is stupid. I mean, this is insane. You can't pay for this. It's too expensive. And also, most of our investors that we pitched to told us, they asked us, like, why would I want to watch someone else's videos? So we needed something to just explain. Yeah, this is actually a very big VC that everyone would recognize, but I mean, I'm not blaming them. I mean, it's difficult to project how things turn out, but we needed something to just explain to people, like, yeah, this is real, this actually works, and it actually has like some value. But I think the bigger vision that we realized is obviously much more important, which is that anyone who has anything to show can be seen. So, for example, personally, the biggest satisfaction I get out of the product now is, I think it's great that the crimes committed in Syria, for example, that there's a worldwide audience for this, right? It's not happening in secret. It's not being hidden. But if something's happening, anyone can make a video and anyone can broadcast this to the whole world. I think that's really important.
Yeah, I have a question which is probably somewhat similar. Since there are quite a lot of startup type people in the room, I'm sure they would like to hear from you what you consider the main success factors in your succeeding. I started 2 companies, and in one I can clearly say what I think were the deciding factors that it succeeded, whereas in the other one, I would essentially say, the hell knows, I have no idea why the market probably carried it. Can you elaborate of what you think in your case were the key elements which carried the company forward and you reached success? This clearly was one of them, deciding on the switch, but perhaps some golden thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, so at the time when YouTube launched, there were already a lot of video sharing websites, including Google Video. So we were not the first by any means, but we were able to just kind of try out more things than some of the other companies. For example, we just made it more open, so anyone could upload a video and it would be hosted immediately. All the other sites were curated so that you could upload a video, but it would only be shown if it was a good video. Google Video was very curated. They had TV shows, I think movies, and if you uploaded a video, there was like a 2-week review process or something. We also had just, more features for sharing. We had the embeddable videos, which no one else had. We also had tags to find videos, which no one else had. So, it wasn't just like a few things. I mean, it was like a long list of things, but we just basically differentiated ourselves sufficiently. No, I mean, it was more like we just felt like that was missing. Like, I had some videos I wanted to share, but there was no place to put those. So we just made a site to, host those videos. It just happened that no one else was doing that.
So actually, I would like to dig some more into the competition because having competition is actually a good thing. It actually proves there is a market usually. Did you at any point of time had felt this breath of competition at your back? Like there was Vidler, obviously Google Video. There was also Vimeo was not there, but later it launched. So what's your best advice to startups dealing with competition in the segment, same market?
Yeah, so before we launched, Google Video came out like a couple of months before us. And I remember, we were just like, oh shit, Google Video just came out. They're going to kill us, so maybe we should just give up right now. And some people were saying like, yeah, I mean, Google is doing it, so obviously they have more resources and, you shouldn't waste your time. Then we were also thinking, wait, like actually, it's actually a good thing that Google Video launched before us because that shows people that this is not a crazy idea. Because before Google did it, people just thought this is crazy. Like you can't do this. How can you show? Like right now, I think YouTube shows about, I think something like 3 or 4 billion videos per day, and so people would say like this is not possible. There's not enough bandwidth in the whole internet to do this. But then when Google started doing video, whenever people said this is not possible, we just said, well, look, Google Video.
You launched that in 2005, right? And you said that at the time, people thought that this idea is crazy, right? So how did you convince your first investor to invest, to give you money? Was it hard or was it easy?
Well, we talked to a lot of investors. Most people were not interested, and they thought it was not interesting or, boring or something. But it wasn't really, we didn't convince anyone. We just found people who thought more similar to us. But we didn't have to convince anyone. It was more like most people didn't like it, but a few people did.
So may I have a question?
Let me just follow up and finish this up. So, and then when you were pitching to investors, you also had some key metrics as well. You weren't just pitching a concept, right?
Yeah, that's correct. It was a combination of a concept and, we could also show that we had a lot of people viewing videos.
Okay, I have a follow-up question to this. I'm sure that you had cost projections, but what about revenue projections? We know that YouTube wasn't making any money for a long time, and how did you convince investors that there would be money in this?
Yeah, I mean, we were more interested in growing the market or growing the share of the market, because we always thought it would be pretty easy to add revenue later, because you can just add video ads, or you can promote like a Hollywood movie and stuff like that. So we knew that was possible, so it wasn't the number one priority.
When you were starting out, it seemed, when you look backwards now, it seems like YouTube was a simple thing to do, and on a pretty unified platform, only web, 1 or 2 browsers, so a simple product to execute. That's how it looks now. And when you look at building anything now, everything looks so complicated because you have multiple browsers, but the web doesn't count anymore. So you have mobile, you have 3 or 4 platforms, different screen sizes, device, and so on. It seems very complicated. Do you see? What spaces do you see that could contain a very simple idea right now and allow it to grow with it? Or do you think that it's just an illusion of kind of hindsight now, that it was simple back then and it's complicated now?
Yeah, no, yeah, that's not really. I think you're right, because even back then there were so many video formats. We probably had like 1,000 different video formats. There's so many cameras, and and then later cell phones, and I mean, it was very difficult to unify that because we had to give a consistent viewing experience for, you know, many different devices. So that was pretty complicated.
Any other questions?
Marek Mijakowski. I have a question related to user experience. Was it difficult to keep YouTube so simple, so easy? Didn't you have pressure to make it just another MySpace with many different things around, or and keep it only because now it's only a screen to view and a simple menu with similar films and nothing else actually with most of the things the user can see.
Yeah, I mean, we always wanted to reduce the clutter, you know, very important, because otherwise the users get confused. You know, you just have to keep it very simple.
There are no other questions. I think that because of the rain, we should stop here. One more question.
So one quick question is, do you have any thoughts about live video versus YouTube, like right now? Like hosted videos versus live videos, streaming and stuff like that?
Yeah, live video is really, it's really important. But, you know, I mean, there's always going to be much more content for non-live video. So I think that's one challenge that live video sites have had. There isn't that much content, right? Unless you stream a lot of recorded TV shows, but then that's not live, right? That could be YouTube as well. So that's the main issue I see with live video. It's just there's not a lot of, like right now, what is happening in the world that's really, really interesting? Probably not much, like at this very second. Oh, like sports and stuff? Yeah. Mm-hmm.
There's also some failures as well called Wii Game. It's still an interesting space, and I don't know if they've fully understood how to monetize on it. But okay, so I guess we're done. Thanks, guys. Thank you, Javed, for coming out.